Hello, welcome to Travis Teaches Guitar, and this is Music Theory 101, the first installment. I'm your relationship counselor for this instrument, Travis, and I'll be leading you through your journey into music and guitar, however you wish to take it. But in this course, we're going to concentrate on music theory. What is music theory? It's basically just a system of how we as musicians can make music in the shorter sense. It's an established system, so it's just a way of doing things. You can look at it like that. You don't need to be put off by the big words or fancy terms or anything like that, because I'm going to try to break it down to you in an understandable, non-intimidating fashion. Okay. I prefer to teach musically rather than through shortcuts like tablature, things like that. I still use that, but more as an aid, but not as a basis. Because if you want to go ahead in your to an advanced stage in playing with other people, bands, or in a studio or anything of that nature, or if you want to start, when it comes to making your own music or transcribing other people's music, you need to have an understanding of music. It's a help. I would say you need to know, but it's good to know, and it's very important, and it certainly helps you along in your journey when you understand certain things. And these things aren't hard to understand. Sometimes the light bulb will just pop on. So I'm going to try to make it easier for you in this course. The first thing I want to explain is that music is made up of a musical alphabet. It's not made up of 26 letters, but just of 7 letters out of that alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And that's it. There's no H, I, or anything like that. These are your starting points. These are all the letters of the alphabet. Now, there are what we call sharps and flats. Now, if you want to look at it in the sense of a piano is laid out like in a linear fashion, where you have white keys and black keys. To sharp something just means to raise a note by a half a step. To flat something is just lower it by what we call a half a step. All right. On the guitar, it's 1 fret. This is a fret, right? In between these metal markers here. So if I'm playing an A, for instance, A flat, I move down 1. If I move up 1, becomes A sharp. You see? So it's really not any more complicated than that. To go back to the example of the piano, the black keys, if it's all laid out in the key of C, you would only be using the white keys on a piano. Sharps or flats are the blacks. So you're going down a half step, a half a tone. So it's kind of meeting in the middle. So if you go half in one direction or other, if you raise the note and it's C, you're going to get C sharp. You understand? Now, this is what you need to remember in the beginning as a basis for this. There is no flat or sharp in between E and F or B and C. Every other letter in the musical alphabet has a flat and sharp in it. So you go from E to F. There's no E sharp technically, right? There is in music, but we'll explain that later. It just depends on how you approach it. But for now, there is no flat in between E and F and B and C. So we will not be saying B sharp until I tell you otherwise. B, C, C sharp, D. There's no C flat. C flat, you go back a half step, is B. And the reason why they made that is just because the way in which they devised this system of music only allowed for the 7 tones I guess you would say. So even though they're there, technically speaking, when we write the things out musically, they're not. Okay, and when you're thinking about the musical alphabet, really all you have to remember is there's no sharp or flat in between E and F. So you just E, F, F sharp, G. So let's go through that now, right? From A, you have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then back to A. Now if you was to go backwards, for instance, this is where it confuses some people, right? We went up, so we sharped everything. You notice I didn't say anything about flat. If we go backwards from A, then we have A flat, G, G flat, right? That's how we go. So all those sharps then became, we don't go F flat, F becomes E, E flat, and so on and so forth. There is no C flat. We go from C to B, B flat, A flat, and so on and so forth. So don't be confused by that and get all hung up on it. All you have to remember is there is no sharp between B and C, and there's no flat between B and C, no sharp or flat, and there's no sharp or flat between E and F. Everything else is going to have one. And these will only show up in certain situations as we go on. You don't need to worry about that right now. What I want to show you is in the context of the guitar, right? Your guitar is tuned in such a way to where making chords, groups of notes, is easy, and their related scales are easy to finger, or the easiest, I guess you could say. So that is why the guitar is not like a piano, where it is linear. A guitar is more pattern oriented. So, and you will notice these patterns as we go along. You'll see the similarities of a lot of these things, especially as it pertains to scales and chords. Today, I just want to concentrate on this string. It's an E string, okay? It is your lowest string, and it is called the bottom string. String number 6, they call it. But it is the E string. I just like to refer to it as the E string, and I always refer to it as the lower E, E. If I'm in the higher E, I'll say your first E or your high E. But generally, I'm going to be talking about this, and you'll know that I'm talking about this. We're just going to concentrate on this string today. And I want to show you how the musical alphabet, it works in this fashion. Okay? E. If I put my finger and fret the note, push down on it, on the first fret, that becomes F, because there is no sharp or flat. It's just E. I sharp the note, it becomes F. F. F sharp. G. G sharp. A sharp, B, C, no sharp or flat in between, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. You see, we went through from E to E here. And it's important that you make some sort of intent on memorizing, or at least familiarizing yourself very well of this, because like I said, this pattern is going to come into play a lot, and you're going to notice these patterns. You'll notice that at 12 tones, these are all different tones. We get to 12 where you see these 2 dots here, these position markers. That's your 12th fret. this, you can think of these two as repeating here, because every note that is here open is also the same note across these right here, these 12th fret. So this becomes E again. So let's go backwards now so I can demonstrate the flat. We have E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, no sharper flats in between here, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, and then right back to open, which is E. Okay? You see how that works now? The sharps are flat. It's just a matter of going down the neck, which it looks like I'm going up the neck, but I'm not. I'm going down the neck. So it's just a matter of I'm going down in tones, down the musical scale, if you will. What that's called is a chromatic. I will explain this later. Not important right now. But we're going down. The tones are going down, not up. If we're going this way, which looks like we're going down, so it's kind of counterintuitive, but we're going up the neck, down the neck. So as I went down, you notice I didn't say anything about sharps. It was all flats. But it didn't change when it came to B and C and E and F. It just becomes F flat is E, right? E sharp is F. It's sharping, once again, is to raise a note. Flatten is to lower a note. That's it. That's all that it means. And in music terms, that's as complicated as it gets in that subject. So for today, I want you to familiarize yourself with that progression. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and back to E. Go through that a couple of times, a few times, however long. Get yourself familiar, because these are going to be later on. These first, or should I say, the bottom two strings, your E and your A string underneath it. We'll get to that next time. Those strings are going to be the root of a lot of your chords. So, just for an example, I'm playing a G chord. G is the root of my note. That's where my finger is on this string. We can take chord shapes, such as the E chord, in which case this bottom string is my, what they call a root note. It is E, it's the open E. I can take this same shape, watch my fingers not even change, and put it here, and then now that becomes F. G, A sharp, B. See how that works? So that's what I'm talking about, that you'll see the patterns after a while, but we will get into that later. I know you want to jump right ahead. Everybody does. But this is the backbone of learning songs or anything like that. Learning songs, your ear, all this stuff is the backbone of helping you to learn fast. Right? If you do not have these fundamental concepts, it makes it very frustrating to be able to learn songs or to get to your next level of guitar playing. So we are going to start at the very beginning and get your fundamentals strong. Once your fundamentals are strong, you can learn whatever song that you want to and push it to any limit that you want to, because your fundamentals are there, like a foundation of the house. So just be patient. Go through these and familiarize yourself to a great extent. Until next time, what I just showed you on this string, from E to E, here on the 12th fret. Be mindful of where you see these position markers and where certain letters fall along from 3 to 5 to 7, 9, and then to 12. And you'll start to see, even on this first session, of where these patterns start to form. Okay? So practice this and then continue on to my next lesson in this series of Music Theory 101 for guitar. I am your relationship counselor for guitar, Travis. And until next time, keep practicing.